Be kind.
There we go. You're live. Welcome, Karin. Karin. I get it wrong every time.
Just remember car insurance.
Car insurance. Karin.
Car insurance.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's a nice sunny day.
Yes,
I'm going to actually go and sit in my friend's garden and see her for a half an hour or so, because I've not seen her in all this time. So what is that, 12 weeks or whatever it is? So
10 weeks. I think it's 10 weeks.
Is it 10 weeks? Yeah, all that time I've not seen her. So I'm really looking forward to just having half an hour. So we got Laura in and Lex here and Mike. Hello, all of you. I haven't got any set questions. I just thought, well, I put Cuppa in a chat, but it's a bit warm for a cup of tea. So I've just got a Diet Coke, to be honest.
I've got a glass of squash.
It's a little bit warm for that. But yeah, do you want to do a little intro?
So probably most of you probably know me from most of the side chats anyway, because I'm a big, well, not a big YouTuber, but I'm a big follower of other YouTubers, and I've got my own YouTube channel, Karin the Thrifter. So I do a part-time reselling and sewing as well. Not so much sewing recently, although I'm getting back into it at the moment. And I mostly sell clothes and shoes.
So when did you start doing YouTube? How long ago was that?
Right when I first started reselling, I just thought I'd sort of, just for my own, just look back and see how far I've come. Lex doesn't know who I am.
You can tell her who you are.
So yeah, just for me really, to look back and see my journey. So I started doing YouTube, trying to think now, 2018, I think. Yeah, I think so. It might have been 17. I'm not sure. I've lost track of time.
I couldn't tell you how long it is since I started.
I used to do a lot of haul videos, but just lately I haven't had any big hauls or anything like that. Obviously, I've now no hauls at all. But I did have plans on some different things that I was going to do with other resellers, but that's not happening at the moment. So hopefully when we all get back to normal, those plans will go back into place again.
Yeah, I found making the videos difficult, because normally I would do, I've been to the auction and this is what I've got, and this is all the new stock coming in, and it's exciting. And like now it's like, I ain't got anything new, there's nothing new to show you. So it's a little bit disappointing, but we'll get there. I think a few more people have joined, so let's say hello. Hello Laura, hello Daryl, hello Mike, Julie, Lainey, Ashley, Crispy. Hello everybody. Knickers, Lex says.
I think I just ignore Lex. There's a terrible rumour going around that I don't wear underwear, and it's just not true.
Hello, Kat. Yeah, I mean, I started YouTube because it was a dare. My children were like, you won't do that. And I was like, I will. If you dare me to, I will.
I think I did it a bit as well because of lack of confidence. And I feel like, you know, even though nobody can see you at the time, because when I first started, I didn't really do so many lives. I just done pre-recorded stuff. Yeah. It's just the confidence, really. And, you know, I used to have jobs where I had to speak to a lot of people. I went from that to hardly speaking to anyone. Yeah. So it's nice when you do a live to have the interaction with other people, isn't it?
And I think, though, when you do, I mean, I started doing it, I felt like it made me a bit more part of it. Mm-hmm. So that when you were commenting on other people's videos, they had the chance to see who you were. And even if they didn't want to watch videos, there was that chance there that they could look and see who you were. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why I did it. Because you feel a bit sort of faceless, don't you, if you don't ever show who you are. So do you still enjoy doing the YouTube? Because you haven't done as much lately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Seller Ladies every Friday, so that's a regular thing. Which I'm really pleased about that, because it gives me a reason to do my hair and makeup, if anything. You know, just make myself look a bit more normal, you know, a bit more human than just every day scraping my hair back, no makeup. So
yeah, I must admit, scheduled these making my list ones at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's made me get up and get dressed every morning. Not necessarily put makeup on, but certainly get up and get dressed. Although I think I might get caught out sometime soon because I am so tired this week. So, I mean, you might see me in my pajamas one morning. So Lex has been DIYing. I haven't done it. What have I done today? I did my Facebook post. I went for a walk. I dealt with some messages. I've got somebody who's interested in, my lovely Indonesian carved dragon thing, but he doesn't want to pay what I've got on it. So I had to we were doing a little bit of negotiating. And I've made lunch and washed up, and I've started editing a what's sold on Etsy video. So that's it. They take a lot of time, those sort of videos, I find. You have to so I'm doing that slowly. Who was the master reseller? I don't know. It was all a mystery.
It's all good. Blame Carla. It's all her fault.
Well, I think it was probably mine, but I didn't realise. It just never clicked, that the name was
before you
there.
click on enter, is it enter broadcast?
Yeah.
It says what you appear as.
Right. Okay.
So I often change my, like if we're having just like a coffee morning, I'll change it and not have that on.
I see. I've not seen that, so I need to look at that. Not that I'll be doing it again. So unless she calls me on again next week, see if you can guess next time. I'd need a new disguise.
Haven't you found though with StreamYard it's so much easier than it used to be? I mean, I learned how to use OBS. Just basically, I did a crash course thing on, just by watching YouTube. And I learned how to do the sharing the screen, and I did a sales video. I think it probably would be easier now with StreamYard. I don't know if you can you pre-record on StreamYard though?
I don't know. I've not tried doing that. I just was using my iMovie app on my iPad. So I'm just saving photos and to do a video, and then I'll do a voiceover thing at the end. So
I'd love to work out how to do the voiceover as well, because I'm really sorry that I haven't done my cooking video yet, released it. You guys all did, and I didn't.
I'm still waiting. I've left you a gap on my videos for the links. So
well, I've done 2, and I've got 2 left to do, and I have got the recipes there. It's just that I've spent the last 2 days doing washing all day, so I can't do it in the kitchen because the washing machine's in the kitchen. But I will. I promise. I'll get it done.
Good. I'll look forward to it. So have you been making face masks? You mentioned it earlier that you were making some for your parents. Yeah. Are you making them to sell, or are you just making the odd ones here and there?
Well, people can contact me if they want. I mean, I'm not going to put them on eBay, but I'm just doing it for friends and family. But you can contact me via Instagram. I'm called Karin the Sewing Thrifter on Instagram, or on YouTube. You can contact me, and I can make them.
Did you see the one that me and my daughter made? Did I show you that? Let me go and get it.
No.
So me and my daughter, I can't sew for toffee, but my daughter has taught herself how to use the sewing machine.
Yeah.
So we spent hours making this, literally hours.
Yeah, it's very similar to how I'm making them.
Yeah, but it's got a pocket in it, so you can put a filter in.
Oh, that's more professional than mine then.
And it's a lovely Laura Ashley material.
Oh, very nice.
But it took absolutely ages, and I just thought, and I need more than one, obviously, because I've got to wash it. So
I'll show you the pattern that I've worked out. But what I've done is I've made them so they're different on each side, so you can tell which is the front and which is the back. So they're my ones. And I'm going to actually change it and have the ribbon going that way like yours instead of that way.
Yeah,
it does get a bit twisted. So
I mean, I tried to work out how I was going to tie it, so I put it on. Which way is it? Hang on. Got to work out which is the front and which is the back. Yeah, because it's got a pocket. So like this. But it feels so claustrophobic.
It does.
Am I really going to be able to work in the shop all day like this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And I've had a few people say to me, are you doing ones with ties or elastic? I don't like the ones with elastic because I think you're more likely to touch that and pull it down. And you shouldn't. If you put a mask on, it should stay on until you're safe to take it off again, if you know what I mean. Because otherwise you're more likely to be touching it, pulling it, pulling it down to speak to people, which you shouldn't do. And so that's why I've decided to do ones with ties. And as I say, I'm doing them so they're different on the front and the back, so that you can tell which is the front and which is the back, so you don't put it on around the wrong way. So I'm making Heather a leopard print one. I'm still waiting for the fabric. Didn't come today again, so
brilliant.
I might have to chase up before I bought it off.
My only thing is, I think I probably want one with elastic. I know that sounds against what you were just saying, but in between customers, I don't want to have it on my face the whole time.
Yes, yeah.
And so if I can pull it down when I've got nobody in, and then just pull it up when people come in, so that I don't have to. Because I think I just feel like I'm suffocating if I've got that on all day.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a local lady who makes them. I've contacted her to see if because I can't spend hours sewing, and my daughter had enough after doing that one, so she won't help me again. And I can't do it again. So I know, and my friend sent me one that you can make one out of a sock by just cutting it up, but I didn't fancy wearing a sock on my face. That just seemed wrong. So Daryl's asked, are you going to do your own YouTube series on sewing tips?
Yeah, we talked about it, didn't we, a couple of days ago? I think I'll do a sewing for beginners, like how to thread up the sewing machine, how to wind the bobbin, all the basics. And probably in that video, I'll show you how to make one of these headbands, because that's a really easy straight line sewing. So I'm planning on doing that. When I do it, though, is the question.
Have you got a tripod for doing your videos then? You got like a tripod to put your phone or whatever camera on it? Yeah, so you hold it over your machine.
I've got two tripods, and one of them is a really professional one, like a proper gimbal one that actually moves.
Right.
So yeah, I got that at Christmas time. It's a little present to myself, so I haven't actually used that yet.
I know, it must be good because, as I say, I've had this sewing machine since I was, I don't know, well, before my son was born, and he's 20, and I've not really ever used it. So, and it's not that I don't want to use it. It's just that every time you use it, it either unthreads itself or the bobbin thing goes all funny, and I don't know what I'm doing, and you just end up going, giving up. So.
Anyone watching that wants to buy a sewing machine, don't go for a basic mechanical sewing machine, because people often buy those, think, oh, that's a simple one, I'll buy that because it's easier. It's actually not. The best one to buy is a computerized one. You can get a really good computerized sewing machine for about £250, and that takes care of all the tension for you. It automatically does the stitch width and the stitch length, so you don't have to muck about with those dials, and it makes it a lot easier to use. Also, you want to make sure you've got a needle threader, because threading a needle is really difficult on a sewing machine. If you've got an automatic needle threader that you pull down, you just hook the thread and then it puts it through. That's a good one to look for.
I mean, I don't think I'd want to spend out any money now on a sewing machine. I can't see me getting into it that much. I just need to master the one I've got, see if I can get any use out of it at all.
I did have 5 machines. I've actually got 4 now. I did sell one. I've got a cover stitch, which is for doing professional, like the what do you call it, the seams on clothes and stuff. And I've got an overlocker, which I haven't actually opened the box because I haven't actually made any clothing yet. I've got a box full of sewing patterns, and I've been too scared to try doing clothing, so I'm just sticking with homewares at the moment.
Oh, you need to go for it. Have a little challenge.
To cut the fabric. That's my problem. But I know I should practice on a bed sheet or something first, so that I don't cut nice fabric.
Ashley was just saying, I made I take it a face mask out of a pop sock and one out of a tights in less than a minute. Super easy, no sew, and it's got a bit you can put the filter in. Actually comfortable to wear, is stretchy and lightweight. I just didn't like the idea of a sock on my face. That's all.
Yeah, you cut little slits, don't you? And then you can hook it around your ears. Yeah.
Yeah, I did see it. Just make sure you use clean tights, especially if you haven't been wearing knickers.
Oh, please don't carry this on.
Oh dear. Heather's been busy sorting out 10 bags of stock. Is that all clothing or jewellery? Use Velcro.
Clothes, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think a sewing one would be cool. To be fair, I think when I got the sewing machine, I didn't really ever plan to make clothes or anything in it. My idea was I'd like to be able to make cushions and even little just craft projects, you know. So, but I just never.
I've given away as presents. I made my mother-in-law a bag, like a line bag, because I did a sewing challenge thing. It was from America where you had I think it was 6 weeks where you had a different project each week that you had to make. They gave you the pattern and then everyone would show what they'd made. So I did 6 weeks of progressing. So it was like coasters, like embellishing a towel, making a bag. I'm trying to think what else there was. Quite a few different projects.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that, actually, making the bag. I did a bag with like Scotty dog lining and I found a template of a Scotty dog online and cut that out and done that on the front. And she really liked it.
There is a little in our town. There's a little shop, tiny little shop, and there's a lady, and she does sewing classes and things. And I know one of my friends took her sewing machine with her to the lady and got her to teach her how to use it. So I might even do that at some point, because it's always easier if somebody's actually physically showing you, isn't it? So how did you get into sewing in the first place, is what Leanne's asking.
So my dad, believe it or not, my granddad and my dad always used to do a bit of sewing themselves, like mostly fixing stuff. But my dad dislocated his shoulder when I was a kid, and he had to do like rehab on his shoulder. And one of the things he done was using a sewing machine to help get used to using his arm again. And he made us dressing gowns. I think he made my mum a dress, and he made us kids like quilted dressing gowns. And I was always fascinated by it. And then I done a little bit of sewing at high school. And then when I got ill, which was 7 years ago, I needed to find a hobby, because I was doing loads of reading. I spent like nearly a year hardly going out, basically. I was really, really ill and I had no energy and I couldn't walk very far. And I was getting a bit fed up of reading all the time. So I just thought, I would love to get into sewing again, you know. So Darren bought me a sewing machine as a present, and I just started making. I think I made my dad an apron and some cushion covers, and then obviously the idea came with the games console dust covers, so I'd done that for quite a few years, which I just recently made a couple. I made one for reselling Polly for her other half, and I made one for the charity auction, you know, for the 80s weekend. Chelsea Alan. So it was weird. It all just came flooding back how to do it. It's like riding a bike, I suppose, because I hadn't done it for over a year, made a console cover, and it just came straight back to me, which was good.
So do you think you'd start doing that again and selling them? Yeah,
I've got loads of fabric sitting there waiting to be cut up, and it's on the list of things to do. The thing is, I've got so many things that I have to do that I get overwhelmed and end up doing nothing. I don't know if anyone else is like that.
No, I'm like that. I think if you've got too much to do, then I find it impossible to struggle, you know, to focus. So I think the best thing to do is to put that list away and write a new list just for that day, and just put one thing on the list, you know, and don't.
I've got a list here that I done the other day, like a daily list, and I ended up doing half of it, and it's still sat there. I need to do the other half of it.
But if you put things on the list that are easy things to do, you know, like your everyday stuff, like put the washing in, wash up, and then at least you feel like you're ticking some stuff off, you know, and then put in like one of the things that's make us, you know, even if it's just cut out the material for one, you know, what are they called? Console, that's it. you know, cut out the material for one console. You just put that on there. And then at least you've got a start. Do you know what I mean? And I think if you've too big a list, it is really overwhelming.
Well, I've been doing a sewing diploma for about, I think it's nearly 3 years now. And I think I'm only a third of the way in. So I really need to, I had that on because I wrote myself a weekly planner and I was supposed to do that once a week and I still haven't. I'm so glad I did get my tax return done though, because at least that's out of the way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so how have you been getting on with eBay then?
Have
you been still doing it?
Yeah, I shut my shop for April because March just went down the toilet. It was fine, and then when all this happened, it was like my shop was switched off, and really? I only just had enough to pay the my shop fees.
Yeah.
So when they offered the shutting your shop thing, I thought, right, I'm going to do that for April. So I did that.
Yeah.
And really, I shouldn't have done, because April I did not do a lot. I spent a lot of time watching TV, watching films, sitting in the garden, doing gardening, sorting out my kitchen instead of working.
I think though that this situation is not normal, and that if you're just sort of getting by without getting depressed, I think you're doing well, you know, because if you're prone to getting overwhelmed anyway, in a situation like this, it can be easy to go down a hole, you know.
Yeah.
So just keeping positive is an achievement, I think.
I think I've had a couple of low days.
Yeah.
But, you know, really, I would say 99% of the time I'm fine. So I do like to keep myself busy.
I think I struggled at the beginning, especially before my son came back, when my son was still in Cambridge, and
that's a long way away, isn't it?
Yeah, I felt really overwhelmed, and he was getting a little bit stressed as well. And you know, when your kids aren't feeling their best, you want them near you, don't you? And so I felt like if we all got together, we could like cocoon, look after each other, sort of thing. But yeah, to start with, I think if I think about it too much now, even though I still get quite worried about it, because we've got two shops. You know, my husband's got his business, I've got mine, both retail space, and retail's not looking good for the future. So
well, the thing that you have at your advantage though, Kirsten, is I think a lot more people are going to start shopping locally and helping small businesses. I really do. Because I know a lot of people that I know have been trying to do that now. So I think that will be good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit of a pessimist, you know, because we've had retail shops for so long, and you've been fighting the online business all this time. Yeah. And then suddenly everybody's told they've got to shop online, and you're fighting that again. And it just feels like a bit of a kick in the teeth, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and we'll just have to make the most of it. But it's hard work. So I'm hoping that people will want to come and shop, and people will want to support local businesses. And
I think they will.
My shop is different. You know, it's not the sort you can't just you can't. Well, you can buy this stuff on eBay and Etsy and stuff, but it's not quite the same, is it? It's not like ordering the same shampoo you have every week from Boots, or you know, it's that sort of thing. So. Who's come in? Hello, Carrie. How are you doing? Still enjoying your garden?
Yes, sorry, that's what I was going to say with Instagram. If you've got a different name to what you go by in the side chat, just send me a message, because I'm on private on Instagram. So you have to request to follow me, because I had a little incident a while back, so I had to put my account to private.
Oh, I see.
With some naughty pictures.
Oh dear, we don't want any of those.
Being sent them.
It's just unnecessary. Totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed Sue coming in. Hello, Sue.
Hi, Sue.
And Ashley says, defo, I can get overwhelmed so easily. Like Kirsten, I write daily lists, to-do lists, but I put one daily focus and a few other things if the others get done. Only need to do one daily focus. The rest is a bonus. Yeah, so it is a good idea. as I say, I tend to put everything on there so that I feel like I'm ticking stuff off. So even things that I know that I've got to do, you know, like I've got to do my Facebook post every day, and I've got to do post office run, and I've got to, you know, make dinner, you know, you know, or do the washing up and things like that. I just put it on because I like to cross things off, you know. So it makes me feel like I'm achieving.
Have you heard of Mrs. Hinch?
I can't bear Mrs. Hinch, sorry.
Oh, right. Well, I've got a Hinch list book, so like ticky boxes. So you can't bear her.
She stole my name for one, and hello, Bex. Yeah, she stole my name because she's not Mrs. Hinch.
No, it's Hinchcliffe. Her name is. Yeah.
I'm the real Mrs. Hinch.
Yeah, you are.
And two, I think she's a little bit patronising, but and I'm not a big fan of cleaning, and she's like an obsessive cleaner, isn't she?
Yeah.
And I find it a little bit, but then each to their own.
Yeah. It must be nice to listen. I wish my mind worked like that, because everyone probably thinks that I'm like that, but I'm not. We do cleaning once a week. Obviously, I do little bits and bobs through the week, but we have one day where we do the cleaning. I'm not like obsessively cleaning and organising all the time.
No, I'm. My husband is got slightly OCD, and I'm really untidy. It drives him insane, which I quite enjoy, really. But when I first moved in with him when I was like 19, he would, you know, when you tins in the cupboard like baked beans, they'd all face the right way.
Oh.
And the towels were all lined up perfectly and all that sort of thing. I'm a kind of open the cupboard, chuck it in, shut the cupboard quick before it doesn't falls out, you know, that kind of. So Shell's in, she's listening, and it's jumped. I lost it. She was doing something while she's listening. And Beck says, I think lists can be counterproductive if you use them as evidence of how you're failing. Well, that's true if you're being a negative person, Bex. Be positive and think of all the things you've actually crossed off. And pat yourself on the back.
Sometimes I often do a to-do list instead of a to-do list, which is where you write down everything you do, because then you've already done it and you can tick it off straight away and it looks like you've done loads. So
I must admit, I have been guilty of putting things on a list when I've already done them, just so I can cross them off again. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, some days you go, oh, I haven't actually done anything on that list, but I have done loads of other stuff. So you need to write those things on so that it looks like you've done something. And Beck says, I clean even when the dogs call me a mucky pig. I agree with you.
A lot of tidying. Heather's right. I do tidy a lot.
You. I'm just not. Just isn't in me to tidy. I just find it tedious. And I think you're either a tidy person or you're not, and I'm just not, you know. And sometimes, like, my counter is always a mess, and I once a week, whatever, I'll tidy it up and it'll look great. And then a couple of days later, I'll be like, what the hell's happened? There's just stuff everywhere, and I don't remember making all this mess. Have you ever seen what's her name? Nadia Sawalha. Is she called Sawalha? She on Blue Swimming. Do you know who I mean?
Yeah.
Well, she does a YouTube channel with her husband and family, and she's got a room that she's got all her clothes and things in, and she is like crazily tidy, as in literally throwing stuff everywhere.
Oh God, no.
And every now and again they'll go in the room and she gets really embarrassed and she's like, no, don't look like that. Yeah. Darryl says, I don't do lists. It takes too much time to list. They just don't work for me. I don't think it takes long to write a list. You can write a list in about 2 minutes, can't you?
So right in front of me now, I've got a list with all like quick functions on the computer keyboard. I found that the other day and I thought, oh, I'll put that next to the keyboard. Then I've got another list with my postage Then I've got another list with like money I've paid out, because I like to write stuff down, because I've always had jobs where you've got a notepad next to you, write stuff down. So, and then I've got everybody knows my listing manifests. So I've got that with my eBay listings on. Then I've got a list of all the healthy A's and B's what I eat on Slimming World, because I just love writing lists.
I love a list. I mean, often they're pointless, but I do like a list. I love writing a list. I've got a list next to me. This was a list of things I had to do yesterday. I don't know why yesterday's list is next to me. Oh, there's today's is on the other side. So, and I've only crossed off about 3 things. So it's not going so well today.
Does your list, does it go on to the next day? Because I find that if I do a daily list, there's stuff that just goes on to every day each, because it doesn't get done.
Oh, yeah.
It puts on the next.
Yeah, it gets transferred. For me, it's been the dreaded thing that keeps going on to the next day is the sorting the jewellery out. I still haven't done it. Right. So that's like, sort the jewellery out. That'll be on tomorrow's list. But yeah, an Etsy listing. Do some Etsy listings.
See, I tried Etsy a while ago, and I just had a few things on there, and they just sat there, and I just thought, what's the point? But I suppose if you've got, it's more like vintage stuff, isn't it? I only had a couple of vintage bits, so I just put a few things in there.
I think though, once it takes a while, you don't get sales straight away. You've got to persevere with Etsy a little bit longer, as in you almost have to get Google to see. So it can take a few months for Google to pick up on your listing and things. Right. So I think what happens is people put stuff on Etsy and they get bored within a few weeks, whereas it takes a few months to get going. And then once you get more views and stuff, it sort of builds on that way. And also I use Pinterest to sort of tag the listings and stuff like that. So it's not fast though. I think it's a lot slower than eBay, and I really need to get back on eBay. But I don't know. It works well when the shop's open, Etsy. I can keep an eye on stuff, and I can quickly take it off my Etsy without too much complication. I think with eBay, I get frustrated because the way that they'll add best offer when you don't want best offer adding, and then they'll relist stuff when you haven't, they'll automatically relist stuff, and then you get bombarded with emails, and it's a little bit irritating. With Etsy, it's quite simple. You put it on the price that you want to put it on at, the postage you want to put it on at, and it's like that for 3 months. You're not getting bombarded with, we've done this, we've added this, we've done, you know what I mean? It's for me.
Have you tried ending stuff, that's been on for a couple of months? Have you tried ending it and relisting it before it relists?
What, on eBay or Etsy?
Yeah, on eBay. Yeah.
I haven't really used it. I mean, I've used eBay in the last few weeks just for a few personal things, but I haven't used eBay for quite a while now.
Oh, right.
It just wowed me up. And in the end, I just said, that's it. I've had enough. You can just stop now. So
I think I've said this before on Seller Ladies, but definitely with eBay, the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It doesn't apply to them, because a lot of the people that work for eBay need to justify their jobs. So they have to keep being new and changing things. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a job. Yeah. So they change things unnecessarily because they feel like they've got to. And they try and make improvements and make things worse. Yeah. It's just a lot of times you just think, what's going on? Why can't you just leave it how it was?
I think when it first started, it was just, an agreement between two people to sell something, wasn't it? And it was an equal sort of deal. But now it's all lean towards the buyer, and the sellers sort of get screwed a little bit. And I don't like that,
Yeah.
Darryl said, I must be used to it, having a mental checklist 30 long when I was a manager. Yeah, I just like to write things down because I've got a brain like a sieve, so it's easier if it's there in a written form. And Lainey says, I don't really have an excuse though, as I only have to tidy my table, bed and side trolley, which is really a laundry trolley with shelves, but it's great for the side of my bed. Well, everybody's got that space in their bedroom where the clothes get dumped, don't they? The chair or the exercise machine. Don't you? Do you mean you don't dump clothes anywhere?
No. If I've like I'll wear something for a couple of days, I might put it at the bottom of the bed, but it's just there for overnight. Then I'll put it back on in the morning. But other than that, no. I'm organised.
Even my wardrobe, to be fair, the jumpers, because they don't really fit and they don't fold properly. So now I've just got to the point where I'm just like pushing them in, shut the door.
See, what I do is, and you probably think I'm mad, but I rotate my wardrobe seasonally. So we've got one of those under storage beds, and all my winter stuff is under the bed right now, and I've got all my summer stuff out, and then I'll change that when the seasons change again.
Yeah, I think you're mad. Basically, I wear the same clothes all year round because one, it's never that warm in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only really when it gets really hot that I stop wearing long sleeves. Today's the first day I haven't had an underlayer thing on underneath my t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because I'm just really nesh, so I'm always cold. So I tend to wear winter clothes nearly pretty much all year. But I'm definitely not an organizer. I really need to take everything out of my wardrobe. Every now and again, I think I should have a sort out because I've got loads of clothes. And then I look at them and I go, but actually, I like that. And I like that. And I wear that occasionally. And that'll come in useful if that happens. And yeah, so never really happens. Mike says, I like to know how you sell on Instagram, or is it just a case of sharing products from eBay or wherever? Well, I think some people do sell on Instagram. I know some like antique dealers will sell on Instagram, but I think that you'd have to have sort of bigger items of furniture that you sort of just one photo, several photos of one item that you would sell.
I've shared pictures of what I'm photographing that day and had sales from that. People messaging me saying, "Oh, I love that bag," or "I love that top," and I've sold stuff through Instagram from my followers. So
yeah. Yeah, and I think I've had people contact me through Instagram, message me. So I really like that. Is that for sale? And I've sold it that way. But I do know that some people do use it as a selling thing. So there's a woman that I presume it's a woman that I follow, and she does like on a Friday, I think a Friday sale, and she'll do pictures of stuff. But I think you need a really big following of people to get sales like that. And I was talking it over with Caroline, and I was saying I would quite like to give it a go. And she said, but wouldn't you just annoy the other followers if you were posting so many pictures of things for sale? Whether you'd put other people off. So I don't know. I think you'd have to be careful whether you had a separate selling page that they would have to sign up to, or I don't know. It's worked while the shop's been shut. The last few weeks, I've been getting a few like Facebook. So local people seeing things, the photos, and messaging me, and that works quite well. It's not the same as having the shop open, but it's a little bonus anyway.
Yeah.
But I think there are definitely people who do sell on Instagram, and I think it's becoming a bigger thing in the antique trade, selling on Instagram. Yeah, because you can put a really lovely big bit of furniture, take photos of every angle, because you can have up to 10 photos, can't you, on Instagram? And then use the hashtag antiques and then whatever, Georgian or whatever, and people who are interested in that sort of thing will follow. And a lot of antique trade is trade to trade anyway. So say you I live in Devon, I can buy something quite cheap and sell it on and make a profit, and then they buy it and sell it in London and make their profit. So a lot of traders follow other traders.
Yeah, I've done that a few times with eBay, sold stuff to people who are specialists in, because I'm a bit of a generalist with stuff, I pretty much sell most things if I think it's going to make a profit. And I've sold things in the past to people that are specialists in different areas that I'm happy with the profit I've got, and they'll go and sell it on for a lot more, I'm sure. But
and I feel the same. If I've made the bit that I wanted to make, then I'm happy for people to go and sell it on and make the profit. That's why some of the stuff in my shop's really cheap, but I'm happy if it brings people in thinking that they're going to find that, you know, great deal, then great, you know, the more that come in, the better, you know. So
I wish there were shops like yours near me. There's nothing. There's no antique shops or anything. We have you heard of Tynemouth Market?
Yeah.
We have that every Sunday, and that's like antiques, although it's gone into a bit of everything now, but it always was just antiques and vintage. And I think Bargain Hunt have been there a couple of times, you know,
yeah.
on there. So we've got that, but that's all we've really got. We haven't got any other shops, and I would love that, looking around a shop like yours.
But usually, I mean, there's not many shops that are solely like mine. Usually they're antique centres, aren't they?
Yeah.
And antique centres tend to be a little bit out of town, so they're often on industrial estates or just out of the way a little bit, you know. So there probably is something just tucked away somewhere where you're not realising.
Yeah.
Just Google antique centres rather than antique shops, because it might be that's the difference, because there's antique centres everywhere.
Yeah, there was one in a church, actually in Tynemouth as well, which we used to go to quite a lot, but that closed down, and now it's just like people have got little shops in there instead now.
Yeah.
It being antiques.
Bex is obsessed with being on Bargain Hunt. How many times have you been on Bargain Hunt, Bex? She keeps getting in the background, pretending to be looking while actually trying to get on Bargain Hunt. When I did a fair at Exeter West Point, there was the Christmas antique fair, so I did that, and Bex helped me out. So there you go, 3. And we had the Bargain Hunt were filming there, and they were going everywhere but avoiding us completely. we did get a little snippet of literally as the camera zoomed by like that, and then every time it's on the telly, Bex sends me a clip. We're famous, because they report every now and again.
I've been on the TV once, I think. Well, no, I've been on the TV a couple of times as a kid, like the proms and stuff. But like the local news done a bit about something to do within Newcastle, and we were walking down the street, so we were on a little clip of, you know, we were holding hands at the time. Actually, we really looked like a couple. Yeah, walking down the street together on a bit for Look North. So
I think I was on the telly when I was a kid, probably about 9 or 10, and me and my family, my mum and dad and my brothers, were in Germany on a underground train, and a TV crew were filming about, I've no idea what, and they came over and talked to my mum and dad. So we were on like the local news, but I've no idea what it was about because it was all in German.
So did you live in Germany?
No, my mum's German, so we used to go back. We used to go back in the summer. Normally we'd go for a couple of weeks or 2 or 3 weeks to visit family. But no, we never lived there.
So I was born in Paderborn. Have you heard of Paderborn?
No.
I'm trying to think where it's near. Sennelager is another big place near it. It's basically near an army base, because my dad was in the army. And we lived there till I was 6, I think. But we used to go back probably every year for a few years after that, and we used to come to England before that to see my nan and my grandparents. So we just used to get the ferry, though. We used to get Felixstowe to Zeebrugge, Belgium, and then drive from Belgium to Germany. So I always used to hate that, the big long journey. They used to take ages.
Well, they used to go to because my family are from Hamburg, so there used to be a ferry that went direct to Hamburg.
Oh, right.
So we used to do that occasionally. I've done that on my own with my brother as well. My mum put us on. Well, no, she sent us a coach from Nottingham. Then we had to go on another coach and then get on the ferry and then go across. And then my auntie picked us up at the other end. So, but yeah, then a lot of my family are from Hamburg, sort of North Germany and Denmark and stuff like that. So, but I haven't been back for a long, long time.
Yeah, I haven't been back since I was 15, I think. So I really should. I did talk about it with my parents, actually, going back and them taking me around where we used to live and everything, because I've only got slight memories of it. So I would like to.
Yeah. Well, we lived all over, but not in Germany. My dad worked for British Airways, so he was a manager. So he would manage the airport of different countries. So when I was 4 weeks old, we were in Saudi Arabia, and then we lived there for a couple of years before moving to Panama in Central America. So lived there for 5 years, and then came back while my dad was learning Chinese, and then we moved and we lived in China for 9 months.
Wow.
So, and then he changed jobs and whatever, and we ended up staying in the UK after that. But before I was born, they lived in other countries like the Philippines and Hong Kong and Nigeria and all sorts of places. So they've been all over. So
I suppose technically I'm more northern now than I am southern, because I lived in Suffolk from the age of 6 to 22, 23. So how long's that? 17 years. And I've lived here, 17 years. So I've been here 17 years and I was there 17 years. So next year I'll have been northern more than I've been southern.
Yeah, well, I've lived here. We've lived here 15 years. And before that, we were in Lincolnshire for about 10 years. I was in Nottingham for about 10 years. So I've actually lived here.
Nottingham twang a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I think when you have your teenage years, that's where you get your accent from. Although I'm called Posh Nottingham, apparently.
Well, one of my sisters sounds really Suffolk because she's married to a guy from Suffolk, and she still lives there and works there.
Yeah.
And my other sister, she did used to sound quite Suffolk, but now she's married and moved to Essex. So she's going to Essex now. And then everyone just thinks I'm from London. I don't know why. But I never got the Suffolk. I've got a little Suffolk twang sometimes, but I've never really got the Suffolk accent. It's more generic Southern, like not really.
Mine's very vague. It's not very strong, but there's just certain words that people will go, "Oh, that didn't sound like you live in Devon."
I get the same thing all the time. If I get in a taxi, it's always, "You're not from around here, are you?" And I feel so, yeah, I am. I've been here 17 years.
I remember going to my one of my friends went to Newcastle University, and I went to visit her, and I got off the train and we walked through this market in Newcastle somewhere, and there was blokes like shouting out, you know, what they were selling or whatever.
Yeah.
And I literally felt like I was in a foreign country. I couldn't understand a word. And I remember just walking around going, what are they saying?
Was it the Granger market? Was it a proper market inside a building? Or was it?
I think it was outside, I think, but it was a proper market.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had no idea what they were saying. I just didn't have a clue. It was hilarious.
Because there was two like indoor markets when I first moved here. There was the Green Market and the Granger Market. And the Green Market, that all got knocked down and they turned that into a big new bit of the shopping centre. But the Granger Market's still there because that's been there for a very long time. That's got like butchers, greengrocers, all that kind of stuff in.
I mean, this was probably nearly 30 years ago, so it's quite a while ago.
It could have been the Green Market because I think that was outside as well.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I love accents as well. I love hearing different people's accents because I think life would be boring if we all talk like the Queen, wouldn't it? I think what gives mine away is like things when I say class and bath and path.
Yeah.
And down here it's all path and class and glass. So so that usually gives me away. Darryl says you sound very southern, Karin.
My dad's a Cockney, although they moved away from London when my dad was 16. So, and then they moved to Suffolk. That's how my dad met my mum, because my mum's from Suffolk. Yeah, but I do sometimes have a bit of a Cockney twang as well. If I speak to especially when I go home to see my parents, I spend a lot of time with my dad because my dad takes me out getting stuff, and I end up with more of a southern accent when I come back because I've got it off them.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I go up to Nottingham, then I realise, then it comes out, the accent comes out, and it's like my husband, he goes to see football quite often, goes up to Nottingham, and he'll come back. And I'll start correcting his grammar where he's using his Nottingham accent.
I think Darren's it depends who he's talking to. Sometimes he does sound quite well spoken for a Geordie, but then sometimes he'll really go really Geordie.
Yeah. As I say, I love an accent. I think it's great. I'm not keen on that sort of, when you get Liverpudlian or even Glaswegian where they go like sort of thing. I don't like that, but most accents are really nice. So have you got any more plans for today?
I will do that listing. I've looked up some prices. I'll list that. It's just personal stuff that it's been sat there for ages needing to be photographed, so I actually done that this morning, so I'll get that listed this afternoon and cook some dinner. I'm going to make Slim and Well quiches, and I'm going to attempt to video it whilst making it, so we'll see.
Well, I'm going to go and visit my friend, sit in her garden, at a good 2 meter distance, because otherwise my son would kill me. But it's literally, and it'll be the first time driving the car since the beginning of March, which is crazy. So,
are you going to go to her garden by the back gate?
Her garden's at the front of her house, so I just don't even have to go through the house or anything. It's just and she's got like loads of chickens and turkeys and geese and ducks and dogs and cats and everything, so it'll be interesting. Right, so thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome.
Had a lovely chat.
Yes.
Are you on tomorrow? Are you on tomorrow? Is it Seller Ladies tomorrow?
It should be, although we haven't discussed it yet. So I'm not sure who's hosting, but it should be Seller Ladies tomorrow. Yeah, 2 o'clock.
Well, look forward to that. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.